Today we're replacing one of these terrible vinyl screen doors with one of the retractable screen doors. These vinyl ones, they seem like a good idea, but they're loose, they're floppy, and what happens is over time they start drooping inside the door frame, and they really, they hold up well because you don't have to paint them, but I've had all sorts of problems with this one drooping, falling out of shape, and having to readjust it. So we finally got rid of it, and we replaced it with one of these great retractable screens. And let me show you how this guy works. It's got a magnet closure. When you don't want it closed, it goes completely out of the way. So now that's all you see when the screen door is open. This particular screen door is made by Genius, and it does have right here a little QR code that you would scan with your phone, and it shows a little video on how to install it. So I thought, great, I can watch that video, I don't have to make one for this. But after watching the video on my phone, I realized there's a lot of important parts that are missing or are very unclear. So this video is helpful, but these are a lot of tips that will help you in your case that really helped me out in mine get this thing up on the house and working correctly. Right here is the first thing to pay attention to, these dimensions. It gives you the maximum and minimum dimensions of each opening of the door. Be sure to measure your door before you start ripping everything out of the packaging and make sure your door fits. If it's close, you may have to put in some strips here and there on the door to get everything to line up, or you may be looking for a different size door. I'll show you what we did. So the vertical height of our front door was just a little bit too tall, so I came in here and installed a strip here. Put the thing in place, sealed around it, primed it, and painted it to bring the height of the door down a little bit so it would fit the door correctly. And this is something you want to do before you start going through all the process of cutting all your pieces, so you make sure all your dimensions are right. So when you open up your box, here's everything that's included. Up top here we have the actual screen itself, that's this guy. There's an optional little threshold piece that you can use right here. This is the magnet catch for the other side of the door, the bottom track, the top track piece, and then little bits of hardware, and it actually comes with a Allen wrench right there too, because there are little Allen screws you will have to tighten up. In addition to the Allen wrench provided, there's only a few other little tools you're going to need. Some sort of a drill or driver, a measuring tape, hacksaw, and a regular screwdriver. You don't actually need a power driver. It is nice and it helps, but you don't actually need it for this project. So this piece here is the top piece of your retractor here. So that's going to fit on there like so. And this little piece is the cap for that. So it goes on there like so. So you have to figure out which side of this you're going to be putting that cap on. So when you come over to the door, remember this is going to be sitting on top of this, mounted into your frame. So determine which side this is going to go on. This goes on the top side of how it mounts the door. So it mounts in just with 3 simple screws. So there you go, that part is now complete and you're ready to move on to the next step. Our next step is to mount these little guys, and these are the clips that actually hold the retractor in place. And what the instruction tells you is you have to mount them 16 inches from the bottom and then 16 inches from the top. Those are approximate measurements. Now the really important measurement that they don't give you is this little piece here. This clicks into the back of your retractor. And you'll see here in my doorway, if I mount it all the way back like that, there's no way for it to actually clip in because it has to rock back. So when you mount these, you're going to have to mount them about 1/8 of an inch out, or it will not work. So measure up your 16 inches and then come out 1/8 of an inch to make sure those things actually give you enough room to rock that retractor back in place. Now the nice thing, this kit does come with self-tapping screws, so you don't necessarily have to drill a hole if you don't want to, and we're not going to because we're using a impact driver to put everything in. If you don't have that in your hand doing it, might be easier to drill a little pilot hole, but you don't actually have to. Once you have that top and the bottom retaining clip on, you're going to take your retractor now and slide that cap piece that we were talking about before right over the top. And then you're going to clip it in place in the door. So now we've got it in place. It is kind of tricky to get that thing all lined up and pushed in place and clicked in. And once you have it up, you will have the perception that it is kind of rickety and not really held in well. And it isn't right now. So be careful because it could pop out. But just remember that when you put in that top track right up here, that top track braces against this piece and holds it in place, and you're screwing the top track in. And the same applies for that bottom track. So this guy right here, you're going to push it up so it's touching the frame, and now we're going to install that top track in place. Now to mount that top piece, that track is going to run from this side over to that side. And what you want to do is measure from that corner all the way to the point where the track will terminate over here. And if you do have to cut your track, you want to cut it with a metal cutting hacksaw blade or a chop saw blade, something clean that won't mar the metal. In my case, my door width is actually the maximum width that this kit will do, so I don't have to cut my track. But if you do, make sure you want to do it now. You don't want to be putting things in and taking them out and banging up your door frame. This isn't one of the required tools, but it is a help, especially if you don't have a second set of hands to help you out. You're going to have to put that door track up in there, get it lined up, then get screws and your screwdriver and get it all put in place. So if you don't have a second set of hands, get a roll of masking tape, break off a couple pieces and put them in the door, and you'll see how I do that in a minute, and that'll give you that extra sturdiness up there while you're trying to get everything lined up. Okay, so now we're going to get this guy in place. You'll notice those 3 pieces of masking tape that I was telling you about just a minute ago. That's going to help me keep everything lined up and in place while I get this guy all up in there. You're going to want to slide this back as far as it'll go so it holds this piece in place. And once it's where you think you need it to go, run those pieces of masking tape up here. And that'll hold everything in place while you get your screw gun. So now your top track is firmly in place. You can remove that tape. You can see here now this side is held firmly in place by this piece bracing it into the door frame. This here is your next piece to install. Same thing as before, you want to measure your distance between this little corner and this edge here. And you want to make sure that when you come in here, it's touching and putting pressure against the frame here. If you do have to cut it, again, cut it with the same blade you cut the other one with, the metal hacksaw blade. And once it's in place here, if it is wiggly, mine's wedged in there pretty good, you can tape it in place. Otherwise, you can just hold it in place with some pressure. And then we're going to fire some screws into this guy too. And now with your top and bottom track in place, you can pull this guy across and just make sure everything is working smoothly, which you can see here it is. The kit does also come with this optional sill plate, and what this is it gives you a little bit of a lip here, and that would mount right here. Now in my case, I don't have enough room to mount it, so we're not putting it in. But if that's something that you did want to put in, you would have put that in just before this, so it would mount underneath, and you'd screw straight through this into your bottom of your door frame there. This here is the last piece to install. This is the magnet catch that runs on the other side of the door frame. And when you install this guy, you want to make sure when you come down to the very bottom here that you can see the magnet is lined up with the track strip. And actually you want it a little bit to the inside of the track strip because you want that guy to mate up neatly with the magnet here on your door. So this is another time where putting some masking tape in place would be a big help. Okay, so you can see here I got a little piece of masking tape on the bottom and on the top of that piece just holding it in place. And now we're going to get in there with our screw gun and fire in the screws to hold that piece in place. Here's one more thing the instructions don't tell you. We have our magnet strip here, and you'll notice my door jamb is not perfectly straight. As we come down, I have a gap. Now if I screwed this in and pulled it all the way to the door jamb, this will not work because this edge over here is perfectly straight. So when it comes across, it won't make contact with the entire magnet and it'll spring itself shut. So the only way to fix this is either straighten your door jamb here, or what I'm doing is I've drilled a hole right here and I'm going to put the screw through and I'm going to back it with some washers in here. So this piece will be firm and spaced out with some washers. Then when we're all done, I'm going to come in here with a little bit of caulking and fill that up so you won't see that gap, but the gap will be there. So that way this magnet will be making a nice solid connection all the way up and down the door. So here it is so you can see what I've done. I've got the screw going through and you see I have 3 little tiny washers stacked in there. So that gives this thing spacing, but it still makes it a firm connection to the frame so that doesn't move around. So now when my door opens and shuts, it sticks. If you like this video, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, give this video a great big thumbs up, and check out our other videos for more do-it-yourself videos, tips, and tricks.